to the greatest.
Hey, you know JayRay got girls here going way.
Oh my God. All right, as y'all know, I suck at intros, but this is Caden Nelms.
Hello.
One of my great pals here at Piedmont University. A lot of these next episodes are going to be a lot of my pals from Piedmont University. You're a mass comm major.
Yes, mass comm with a film studies minor.
Oh.
Yeah, just picked that one up.
Damn.
Recently.
They have a minor for film?
It's not. It's through the English department, actually.
Ah.
It's really odd, and my time here got delayed for an extra semester, so now I have time to pick up a minor.
Okay. Same. Yeah, my time got kind of delayed too. I did the same thing, but I doubled in film. So
if I would have been here a little bit longer, I could have, but
yeah.
It didn't work out like I wanted to.
See, I'm here like how many more semesters are you here for?
Next May I graduate, so yeah, with Matt. And
Matt.
Yeah, because I was supposed to graduate this December, and then financially I wouldn't cover my summer class. I need 2 classes to graduate.
Yeah.
Spanish and psychology. So now I'm here till May. But I don't have many classes. Like next semester I have 1 class a day. So that's going to give me a lot of free time to do my transition into the real world, like my editing, my podcast, my work I do for other people, my freelance stuff.
Capstone?
So, yeah. Okay. Well, Capstone too. Plan that too. But a lot of the freelance stuff I do and different things.
Okay, it's cool. Yeah, I was supposed to graduate next year as well, but then instead I'm graduating the semester after the 2024 fall, I think. I believe, yeah.
So I was supposed to be 2023 fall, which is usually a small group of people. It's like 11 people this next semester.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm glad I'm not doing it. That's a lot at once. That's a lot of people. Yeah. One of the biggest ones we've had. But yeah, now it's next May, which I get to graduate with my friend Matt and whoever else is in I don't know who's all in that year anymore.
I think Chloe might be.
There's Chloe, Matt.
Is Naomi? Or is Naomi graduating with Sophie?
Sophie. So then the next year, it would go me and Matt, then you the next semester, and the next semester, Sophie and Naomi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm ready for it, I guess.
Excited?
Yeah, I'm nervous, but excited. Yeah. I'm ready to be done. It's been 5 years.
Any internships, anything going?
I have an internship with a company, kind of. They're really just more helping me. A lot of it's helping me with my own future of podcasts and public speaking. They help support me in that, but I also do work for them as well, kind of back and forth. And then I do some freelance stuff as well. So
fix my shirt because I can't keep going like this.
Do we cuss in this one?
I was going to ask you. I was going to keep it clean for you because you said your folks might be watching.
No, they don't. They'll get over the cussing.
Okay. All right, bet.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Honestly, they know I have a terrible mouth. So
yeah, my dad always says that. He's like, you shouldn't curse on your platform. I'm like, Dad, you watch comedy, you watch movies, you cursed around me growing up. You introduced me to all these things.
Right. If they want the real me, then it's going to be work language.
Thank you. We're called Real Talk Radio.
Sure,
I want everybody to come on here as who they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Be authentic. Okay, we kind of jumped off board a little bit. We started talking about school, guys. Caden, what are we talking about today? I'm having a podcast ideas block, guys, so I'll let Caden carry this one.
So if you can't, oh boy.
Yeah. I mean, I'll jump in as well.
Preparing for my own podcast. Yeah. Yeah. So for those that don't know, I have spinal muscular atrophy, which is a neuromuscular disease, disability where my muscles get weaker over time. So I use a wheelchair, as you can see. And so I was going to, it's real talk. I was going to talk about that. Anything, honestly, about anything in that world things, because there's things I talk about and things I typically avoid. Not out of fear of talking about it, but because people don't want to hear it type stuff. Kind of thing.
I was going to ask you some very deep questions that I had. Because, I was working with, also, he is a movie star, too. You can go ahead and see him on Adapt under Tyler Goins. Wait, it's called Adapt, right?
Adapt Not Overcome.
Not Overcome by Tyler Goins, a short documentary.
Shameless plug. That's going to be my podcast name.
For real?
Yeah.
Is it Shameless Plug?
No, a shameless plug for me is my podcast going to be called Adapt Not
Overcome. Shit.
Yeah.
Well, y'all can check that out soon when that drops, too. I'll drop them. You just send me the stuff and I'll drop it on my podcast. Okay. But yeah, we was when I was working with Tyler for my documentary as he was working for his capstone with the documentary about you, and we were talking about it, and I had so many questions. We were talking about I already know I'm going to cry when I watch it. I already know.
I cried, and it's about me because I mean, and like it's so hard for a documentary because especially if you're going to submit it to like, I don't want to say amateur, but to like college level competitions, you got to keep it under 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Because once you get above 10 minutes, it goes into the professional world with like endless amounts of money and whatever. You can't compete with that at a college level, no matter what equipment you have. And so it had to be so restricted down to, well, his was I think 13, 14 minutes, so he went over that time. But that caused some issues in competitions. But for documentaries, at least on the college level, you have to like restrict it so much. There was so much stuff that was so good that was cut out.
Yeah.
Not to the fault of Tyler or anything, but that's just how like, that's just how you gotta do it. Like, and like, it's just how any documentary is. Even the one I produced, there's so much good stuff, but I had to cut it out because I couldn't fit that in a 10-minute documentary to submit, so, yeah. So,
we were talking, I was like, one of my main questions I guess I can ask you now, if you're willing to answer, I was like, because last semester was one of my toughest semesters mentally. Like, I love the classes. Because I think it was my first semester getting into my mass comm major classes, and that's the toughest transition from going from like a couple of here and then mostly gen eds to going to like damn near in the field. That's why I like this school. So
for sure.
And I was like, yo, how does he keep himself together mentally? Like, and I know I was talking about this with Miss Deanna in class. I mean, not in class, in the cab the other day. We were talking about how like, on our worst days, we got to remember other people's days are, worse.
Yeah.
Other people going through stuff that we're not. So this is just a microscope of what they're going through. And I was like, how do you, and I know you talked about it a little bit in the documentary, but I want to get your like live perspective.
Sure. I honestly didn't hold it together. I did, but I didn't. So like I started high school and public school was rough for me. I don't know how much I've talked about that like out there because a lot of people I went to school with, I'm still around like, in the small town I live in on social media, but like, and it's nothing to them. I don't want them to think it is, but it's like, I was treated differently so much in public school, starting from kindergarten until graduation.
No, when you say treated differently, you mean like nice, like
a little bit of everything. So, avoided, treated nice, overly nice, like too much, like they're like pitying you. Treated rudely is like a big mixture of everything, and it was interesting. So it started like when we're younger, nobody cares about social status, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And so like I had those friends that helped me. I had a manual wheelchair at the time, help push my chair around, help do everything that I needed, and then you transition from elementary school to middle school, and that's where, at least in my town, all the elementary schools come together in one building. As one middle school in the whole town, and then you get other people you don't know, so you're having to restart that. And I was a shy kid. I was very self-conscious and shy in elementary school. So now these people that I went to school with have these preconceived ideas of who I am. Going to middle school where everybody has the opportunity to act different and start fresh, except for me apparently, because they didn't accept that. And so then I get all these new people, and I thought I had a chance to start fresh with them, but then the people I already knew told them about me. It just never, and nothing bad, it's just I was shy, I didn't talk, I was different, wheelchair, whatever. And then high school, it went on the same thing. I had like a few friends, but we never hang out outside of school. It wasn't that kind of friendship like I do have now. And so college was really that time of, let's start fresh. Then COVID happened.
Damn.
And COVID's when it was second semester of freshman year when COVID started. We started for spring break and never came back. And that's when 2020 really like took me out in the sense of mental health. I did not hold it together one bit. I was lashing out on my parents. Granted, we don't see eye to eye on everything, which I think is said for everyone in their life and family, but we don't see eye to eye on everything. And instead of like keeping that like a friendly conversation, either one of my parents or somebody in my family or me or both would lash out. And it just didn't help. And I definitely like wasn't as nice as I could have been and understanding as I could have been on some things. So it really was, it took time. That time away we couldn't go to class. It was me struggling really bad, getting online classes, being stuck in my house because I felt like I just had this new freedom. And then now I'm stuck back at home again. which I feel like everybody went through as well. But I just had a really hard time with it. But also, I didn't really advocate before 2020. You wouldn't see me doing a podcast like this, especially. I was still kind of shy, whatever. But it took COVID and my body resting for the first time probably ever since school started, to really rest and realize I'm getting weaker, I'm getting more tired. And then also college, I'm not going to be able to have somebody advocate for me. So I need to advocate for myself. And so I just shut that and ran with it. So social media turned into advocating, starting a podcast, doing other people's podcasts like this, doing like interviews for Piedmont for their PR team or whatever it may be. Like I did it all and just jumped in. If I didn't agree with something Piedmont did, or they were super inaccessible when I came here, to be honest, I fought that and probably made some people mad, but also made people happy them seeing it. Like I know the mass comm department was super happy to see that, and then some other people in administration, whatever, they were super glad about it too. But then you always get those people that don't want to change, whatever. But it really took 2020. That was a little off topic, but it took 2020 to really do a lot of self-reflecting, self-acceptance. In some ways, accepting of my disability for the first time in 19 years at the time. So yeah, that's a very long-winded answer, but like it was very much a struggle. And it took me going through that end of 2020, especially December 2020 was really hard for me for some things I don't talk about right now, but maybe again, eventually I will, but it was a really hard time for me into January of 2021. And then it really transformed there going back into person. Well, then I took a semester off from school, but I was going out places again and doing things and eventually came back to school. And so yeah, it was a lot of hard times, and I was almost glad that COVID happened in the sense of, I'm not glad that COVID happened, but like I was forced to stay home because I had this realization, but also I didn't lash out on people here. Like I wasn't being rude to people here because I had time to work on it at home. Yeah. So yeah, that was probably a very long-winded answer, but you know.
I mean, it's cool. Yeah. So, because I have a lot of follow-up questions from that. I think the first one was probably the shorter version. You said like the school was inaccessible, and you called them out for that. Like, were there any changes made with that?
Yeah. So one thing I didn't have to ask for is on them. I applaud Piedmont, whoever put this idea in. I'm not sure who it was, but whoever did it was amazing, because I came here to tour. I can't remember if it was a Mass Comm Day or a Preview Piedmont, some event they have for incoming students. And they knew I was in a wheelchair because I'd already submitted all that stuff. And they rented a van, or I know undergraduate admissions drove the vehicle. I'm not sure who bought it or rented it. Rented a wheelchair accessible van from Atlanta and drove it back up here for that one day for me to get around. Which is because it's in July, it's super hot. I'm not going to be outside, which is super nice of them. And before I even started here, I had committed here and all that. But before I started, they had already bought the accessible shuttle we have now. And they have always had that for me. Any trips we go on around here, they'll take me. Or if it's a longer trip that like the campus activities board's doing, they'll rent a vehicle, like a charter bus that's accessible, things like that. So that was one thing they did on their own that I was super happy about, didn't ask for. I would have asked for it, but I didn't know at the time what it was like on campus. One thing I did fight for was the buttons on the front of all academic buildings that I can just press to open the doors.
I abuse that, by the way. I'm not even going to lie.
And it's meant for everyone to use, not just people in wheelchairs or disabled people, but like they didn't have those, so I couldn't get in the buildings. And I've been here since 2019. It took until November of last semester, so November 2022, to get the final one put in the library. So it took them like 4 years almost. So, I mean, it took them a while, and I kept fighting for it, but they got it. And then, like, you know, like the ramps here and there, they didn't have ramps in some of the sidewalks, unsafe area. Things like that. Just elevators need to be fixed to make sure the buildings have elevators and accessible entrances and all the things. There's stuff that they've said no to or they don't have the budget for, they're working on, that we're still waiting on. But it's not a priority at this point. It's the other stuff. The sidewalk, when the road was out, well, I'd asked for sidewalk before, then the road collapsed. And then I didn't get a sidewalk anyway because nobody was able to go around there. And then afterwards, it took how many ever years to build it back. And I talked to the city of Demorest themselves, and the city clerk or manager at the time promised me that they would put sidewalks on. And I followed up with them every few months. I'd call and say, hey, Caden, yes, it's still happening. Or I saw your name. We actually had a meeting today, and I saw your name come across my table. It's happening. And eventually, of course, it happened. And so I worked with the city for that one because Piedmont told me it's a city road. And the city told me, well, maybe. And so they eventually did. So
damn.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah. It was a lot of follow-ups. You just got to stay so consistent with advocating and accessibility. You got to stay so consistent and, like, you're going to get on people's nerves. You're going to piss them off so bad.
But that's what you got to do sometimes.
But yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Because you're not, I understand, because you're not really, it's not just for you, it's for other people too.
Yeah, so there's, I don't know if you want to go off this topic, you can tell me to shut up at any point, but there's this phenomenon effect thing called the curb cut effect. So if you look on sidewalks at red light, the little ramps that wheelchairs will go off on, the curb cuts, those were it started in California, in Berkeley, I believe, around Berkeley, and they didn't have those on sidewalks, so it wasn't a thing at the time. And these, I could be mistaken on the exact fact. I think some of them war veterans, other just disabled individuals, wanted access on the sidewalks, and the city told them no. So they went out at night with sledgehammers and made their own ramps on the sidewalks.
I thought it was about a riot.
I mean, they made their own ramps because the city weren't doing it, and so they called them curb cuts. And so a lot of fighting, protesting, whatever. The city finally approved it and put them in. They're the first city in the U.S. that is known to have them. And why it's called the curb cut effect or phenomenon is because other people started using them. Parents with babies and sidewalks, skateboarders, bicyclists, people delivering packages, whatever. Everybody started using them. So that's what the phenomenon is. Like, just because it is for somebody that's disabled doesn't mean it's only for them. Like the buttons or ramps or whatever. Like, if you compare ramps and stairs aren't accessible to everyone, but ramps are. It's that kind of thing.
Damn. I've never seen it in that light.
Yeah.
Fun fact for
it's
you
very
folks.
niche for disabled community, but it's something that a lot of people talk about. So yeah.
And then my second question was, you said me and my parents didn't see eye to eye on things. And you don't have to go there, but yeah, are there specific things that you can share with us that?
I think a lot of it's just, one of them is I like to fight back on accessibility. Like, I don't let things go. If somebody's, not that they want to let people run all over me, but if something happens, like say sidewalk, they're like, well, don't get on their nerves too much. But on my end, I'm like, I'm gonna get on their nerves really bad and piss them the fuck off. Yeah. They really get them going, and like they're gonna have to like shut me up or do it and get over it type thing. And there was that, and there's of course like political stuff and what a lot of people do, political stuff, morals, different things like that. All those things I feel like a lot of people differ on, plus some other things I don't really talk about too much, but but disability related, it's like that kind of stuff. For being inclusive, everybody has a different definition of inclusive. I personally feel like if I'm a part of a minority community, I feel like I should be inclusive and support other communities that are minorities because I've had that support given to me. While other people who might not be in that minority community might disagree, I feel like it's almost like a feeling that I need to be inclusive to other people since they have been to me type thing. And that's something I want to dive more into at a later day with somebody that's like a professional in that area, or like somebody from a different minority community I can talk to about that, because fun fact, disability community is the only minority group that anybody can become a part of, because you can become disabled at any age. So it's super important, but not a lot of people talk about it. So yeah.
Damn. I forgot my third question. It wasn't pertaining to that though.
Yeah.
I was about to say, well, here's another one. Take me through, because this is not even for them, this is for me. Take me through, like, how do you get through your darkest days? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I would say I'm fortunate enough to, not have too many of those bad days that are just, like, really hard. I do go through them. If I wake up, my body's super weak, or I've had something said to me online, because I do advocate and post online a lot. Like, I've had some things said to me somehow in my own little space of the internet that has been hurtful, which those don't usually get to me. I usually laugh at them. But like some things are said in person, or I've had somebody just not acknowledgeable. It's just not their fault. Like, but they need to be educated on it, but they don't want to be educated.
Watch our last episode with Caleb Rogers. We talked a lot about that.
Oh, yeah, I imagine.
Like, especially with, like you said, the minority. It's like all these are minority groups, and you know, it goes back to, you know, racism, blacks and whites.
Yeah,
we're never gonna come to a ground with the racism thing. And I know racism is a broad. It's like it's Asians, Hispanics, but one of the main ones is like black people. We still haven't got our reparations, and we're still systematically. Forgot my words, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
We're still seen as, you know, that
different.
Yeah, we're seen as different.
Yeah, I feel like any minority group can relate to that in a certain way. Like disabled people can. Yes. People part of the LGBTQ plus community can. Whether it be different race, ethnicity, even religion. Like people don't think of religion as much. While that's not maybe the same thing. It can in a lot of ways. I feel like some people kind of skip over that. But like, yeah, it's just really interesting. Like, it's not, I don't know how to describe it, but like, if that really gets to me, if there's like a really ableist person that gets to me, or something, there's like significant ableism happening in the world or on social media or, I don't know, and I feel like I can't say anything. I feel like I don't have the platform, and I'm not in the place in my life where I can say these things without being reprimanded from whoever. And so it's just really interesting. So I when I bottle things up, I get really in a dark place. I had that recently, not with disability, but when the shooting in Nashville happened, I really had a hard time with that because I feel like it's getting, every time I hear about another thing like that, I get more, it hits harder and harder. To the point where literally yesterday I was at a store with some of my friends and this guy got irritated and screamed and we all started panicking that something was going to happen. And we were up against the wall, so we just kind of like stay behind the clothes because all the workers were on their walkie-talkies like surrounding, and like it was a weird thing. And we waited for a minute because that's how bad it's gotten. Used to, I would never think that. Yeah. I went to the mall the other day in Beaufort and was super anxious the entire time. Like situations like that, like more like real life situations, put me in dark places. And the way I manage those is having that support group around me. I have my best friends. I have the access to call even my cousins who were super close to me. If I need to just get out of the house or get out of where I'm at, whether it be school or just need to take a break, whatever it may be, I had the opportunity now. I didn't used to. And also just therapy. Yeah. Therapy is a big part. Like it's been like, I don't go to therapy regularly, but it's been like those situations where I can, even if it's not like, I can get help if I need to in those situations type thing. I need to start going to therapy regularly. I think everybody could use a little bit of therapy for sure. I don't know.
That'll be the debate for the next episode we do. I just don't see.
I don't think everybody needs to, but I think everybody could benefit if they feel like they need it. I don't know.
I just don't see how you can give somebody some personal information and have them give you back feedback on what you need to do when they've never been through that. That's just the part I fail to. Yeah. Like I'm never gonna say. No, for sure. It doesn't work or it might not work. I'm just saying, like, I can't, my brain can't work that way.
Yeah, and I feel like that's another thing where, like, that's something I learned as well. Like, I for sure felt the same way. Also, even in high school, I didn't know what mental health was. Never heard the term. Like, I just didn't know what any of that was until I got to college and realized, a lot of it was leave that small town and leave where everybody's the same. That sounds so rude, but, like,
no, you're definitely
in a small town, like, you get that feeling. So when I come to Piedmont, it's super diverse. Yeah. I can find friends from anywhere. I can find somebody that's religious or not religious, or part of the LGBTQ plus community or not, or a certain ethnicity or certain race or religion, whatever it may be. I can find that here. And that really broadened my mind and opened my mind to what mental health was, when it's important, just how to live a healthy life mentally, and like it's not all physical type thing. So yeah, but it really is just having those resources to reach out to for me personally.
This is crazy. See, this is why I think like you know those small circle groups that talk and stuff like that. I think that's more helpful than therapy, because like as you were saying, you came from a small town and where everybody was the same, and you want to come here to kind of a bigger environment or a bigger community, and you learn different things. I'm told the opposite, but the same. Yeah. So I came from I'm from Stone Mountain, but like 5-10 minutes away from Atlanta. Yeah. Where everybody's and it's big. Yeah. But I don't like it because everybody's the same. You know, all the universities there or close to there are like big, and you don't get the focus. Where I came here, and I've always been in diverse schools. My mom was big on that. My mom's one of those kind of bougie people, so she always wanted me to go to a predominantly Caucasian school or like a very diverse school that's really rigorous in academics. Versus I came here where like, you know, y'all are smarter than the kids I went to school with. Like these kids are at Duke and whatnot and doing great things. And some of them in Saudi Arabia doing studies and stuff. But like y'all for your age, like I'm like your dialogue, the way you speak, your vocab. And I'm like, damn, I'm glad I came from there. Now I'm learning from y'all, and it's just. It's the same, but it's the opposite. Yeah. Like,
I get, because, like, I don't, like, here, like, you can choose who you want to be surrounded by. Yeah. Like, it's not huge, so you do know a lot of people, but it's not so small, like, a small town, like, that has one high school that's, like, maybe 2,000 people. Like, or, no, way less than that, actually. Piedmont has 2,000-something people. But, like, it just, I have that diversity in my life that I never knew I needed that until high school, and I started, like, having these thoughts of like something doesn't feel right. Like I feel like there's more to the world than just these individuals in White County. Like I feel like we can go beyond that, and I feel like I can get people with other, you know, because I grew up in a predominantly Caucasian, Baptist, or somewhere Christian, conservative town. I felt like I wanted to experience more than that. And like I'm still religious, but I would say less, like, different than what I was raised, which I don't think is a bad thing. It's whatever. But it's just that, you know, it's that interesting, like, diversity. And I never knew of an openly gay person until high school. Yeah. And then I'm like, wow. Like, and I thought, like, but then I hear things to, like, really root against them. I was like, that's not right. I never thought that was, like, the right thing to say. I didn't know what to say to support them or be around them or be friends with them. But like at the same time, I was like, what these people are saying around them is not okay. So I was like, I want to experience something a little more diverse and get this like idea of like, I wanted to learn not only of course mass comm, but I wanted to learn how to be supportive and an ally of all these different communities and supportive and be friends and like support one another. Because I wanted that. I seek that as a disabled person in this minority group. I wanted the support and I wanted to give it as well.
And that's one thing I have to thank my mom, because she did put me in those diverse communities, but it just didn't. I just needed something different. Yeah. Obviously. So.
And once you grow up in it, you're gonna want different anyway.
Yeah, and it's like go back to what you're saying. Me and Caleb talk about it so much with the LGBT community, but again, like the point I was trying to make earlier, you know, racism, diversity, anything with minorities. I'm glad I was raised. I mean, I'm glad I was around those different types of things in my life, because I was the same. Like I knew what gay was, and I didn't necessarily see it. I saw it as different, but I didn't see it as different the way other people like bashing and stuff like that. Same with disabled people. Like it's okay to make jokes here and there when these things pop up, but then there's a difference between jokes and a difference between like very offensive.
Yeah, there's offensive and harming, and there's jokes. I make jokes all the time. Yeah. You've heard them. Yeah. People are always awkward on them. I think they're funny, and my friends kind of know they're funny, but it's different than like pointing out someone and like making fun of them specifically. I would never, no matter what they are, who they are, what the community, I would never make fun of a specific person. It's like, and like I don't want to make fun of the group either. It's like somebody says, let's go for a walk. I was like, well, I can't walk. Those jokes are funny. Yeah. And like I've heard people, and like any group makes those kind of jokes, but like there's a certain point where it's making fun of and harming people. And also it depends. As weird as it sounds, as controversial as it sounds, to me, it depends who it comes from. Because people in that community, if they have that experience, it's okay for them to use or say certain things or terms, jokes, make certain points. Others can't. It like goes back to like, it's important to have allies in the disability community, but you don't want the allies to overpower what the disabled people are saying, whether it be for advocacy reasons or take it back to jokes or whatever. Like, it really, you don't want to overstep. So there's that boundary I think is hard to find. And it varies depending on who it is and what it is and what it's about. But, like, it's important to know when to not overstep in these situations.
And that's what I was next question. They're gonna be like, oh, here he goes again. Because I said this in multiple podcasts. How do you feel about comedians when they make fun of when they make certain jokes?
That one's a hard one for me.
See, I'm a comedic mind, and I was like,
I love watching. Yeah. But once again, it's different than when. Here's where I kind of find the boundaries when they're talking about someone. If that person's in the crowd, and it's crowd work, like a lot of comedians, especially I see on TikTok, and people want to go see do, that is different. Or making fun of themselves, or like a close friend or family, whatever. Or like someone in the crowd when they're asking for it. You obviously know who wants it and who doesn't. It's completely different than standing up and making fun of a whole group or person really bad, like nonstop, or like just a really hard hitting joke. And then nobody can defend it, or nobody can be there, and you're talking about a specific person that can't talk about themselves or defend themselves, or a whole group in generalizing. Like, so it goes back to, you also don't want to make assumptions. But like, there's, once again, a medium there. Like, I don't know how to balance
I don't know, because that's what I'm saying. When it comes to comedy, to me, I feel like there is no line. Because in comedy, you're only supposed to. The jokes are supposed to be intent for laughing.
And I would never get mad at a joke like I would if. I would never get mad at a comedian or a joke like I would if it was somebody said directly to me. In a non-comedian atmosphere. Because if that happens, then it's different. But in a comedic atmosphere, there's more leeway. I don't know if there's a line or what the line is, but also. It's a very subjective thing of everybody.
It is.
Everybody's different. Everybody has a different opinion of funny. Like, I can tell you my jokes. I can make a joke, and our professor DBC will not laugh at them like I hope he would. And I've made them on purpose to see if he'll do it. And every once in a while, I get a little smirk out of him. But Laura, on the other hand, will one-up me with another joke that's even funnier.
Damn.
Like, so it really depends on the person as well, which I think is so difficult in today's time where everybody feels...
woke agenda thing.
Everybody feels different and... wants to have an opinion, but also just feels different about it, and like wants cancel culture. I hate it.
Yeah, we talked about that last.
I don't even know how to begin because I hate it so much. Like, there is some times where people shouldn't be canceled, but they should have not discipline, but the reprimandations that come along with it. Sure, but should they be canceled for their life, ruin their whole life? No, unless it's just like the worst god awful thing I can think of. But like, if they say something, sure, you should get like maybe people that you talk bad about like taunt you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I don't have a good example, but like, should get reprimanded. Like, things should change, but like, also you shouldn't be canceled your entire life, and it shouldn't.
You can bring up the Dave Chappelle thing. That's what I've been holding on for the longest because I feel like. Okay, so he talked about this is like 2 years old, maybe last year. Maybe.
I feel like I know, but I don't know.
He spoke about the LGBT. And I've never seen the show, but I heard they wanted to, like, Netflix people were walking out. People that work for Netflix were walking out. He made a couple jokes about the LGBTQ community, and a lot of people wasn't feeling it. And I didn't hear the jokes, but I can only imagine because I don't even watch Dave Chappelle like that. But I know in the terms of how people speak about him as one of the greats, I know he gets down and dirty. But I know he would never like fuck the LGBTQ. Like, he makes surrounding jokes about it too. And that's why I keep fighting on it, because I believe the beautiful thing about comedy, great quote from Ari Spears, another comedian, one of my favorite comedians, and he actually has a podcast if you ever want to listen, called Spears and Steinberg. He says it like you were saying, in today's time where everything is so like everybody's so sensitive and everything is more like microscoping now what you say. He said comedy used to be this thing where we could have these conversations, but through jokes. Like the conversation people don't really want to have. If you sat them down and let's just straight up have this conversation about racism, homosexuality, disabilities, police brutality, whatever you name it.
I also feel like jokes have changed though. A little bit. Where I feel like, I don't know if it's like the comedian or the jokes have changed, but they almost feel like everything feels more offensive, but it could be just where we're in. I don't know. It's an odd thing. But how do you feel about like cancel culture outside of comedy?
I think I feel the same. Like, for example, the Kyrie situation. Did you hear about that? The semi-answer. Okay, let me see. I'm trying to think of something you do know.
I know one.
The baby. I know you heard of the baby when he said, all right, again, Mr. and Mrs. Nelms. This is not me. I'm just quoting what the baby said. So he said, this was like 2 years ago. He was at a concert and he's about to do an encore and he's like, something about girls in the parking lot sucking dick, and then he's like, and don't get AIDS. And a lot of people thought he was directing it to the LGBTQ. Yeah. And my thing was, even if he was, are really gonna cancel him? Because at the end, he's suffering from it now still. For 2 years, like you haven't heard anything from the baby. Yeah, but my thing was, he did take he may or may not have taken a shot. We don't even know. Yeah. But the thing was, he did like apologize. He tried to he went on Instagram and tried to explain what he really meant, and then he did the work. He stopped the shows. He stopped doing this, and he went to he got help. He went to group circles, communities, therapies. That's where the difference is in cancel culture. That's where I'm okay. I won't say I'm okay. I am less against telling somebody they did something wrong for sure. Like tell them. Like the example I can think of is Morgan Wallen. Yeah. You know that whole thing that happened? No. He said the N-word. He was drunk. He said the N-word. And a neighbor's Ring doorbell caught him saying it. And so his album wasn't played on the radio. He canceled all his stuff was canceled. And he was canceled for a while, and everybody was, because it's also a country music world where that's a very split. Like some people don't care, like, well, so what? And other people are like, that's where it kind of gets different. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Only because, oh my God, we're gonna do another episode on this. But that's what I'm saying. But like, he also reached out to black individuals in country music and outside, had that discussion. Even people that were like, I hate you on social media. Even other people was like, no, but then they were like, I don't like what you did, and I really disagree, but let's talk about it. Let's not just shut you out and cancel you. Let's talk about it. I think it's a thing to learn, but our history, man. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Usually when they get drunk and say it, our mind says, like, from, our people, we think, like, they say it behind closed doors, and when you get drunk, that's when the truth comes out. So I'm again, I don't. Intrigued about. That's and I'm like, and then I'm it's like I'm contradicting myself. Then I'm like, okay, maybe he does need to sit down and learn the actions of the words. Like, you don't have to. Yeah. I really wish they would accept us for who we are, but that's what I'm saying. And like a lot of the black country music singers, like Mickey Guyton, what's his name? He just had a baby. I know that. I don't know. You got to send me a playlist though. Anyway, but they were not happy, but they also reached out to him after the fact, like waited a few weeks, let everything play out a little bit, and then reached out and was like, hey, let's work on this and fix this. Yeah. And now he's like, man, he apologized. Of course, they did the whole. And I hope he's not trying to fix it for his image. I hope he's actually trying to. I genuinely feel like, I don't know, because I kind of like, I'm not in that. I used to be really into country music. By that point, I was kind of out of that world. But from what I know, he went the extra step and like actually got help from, which I feel like a lot of people wouldn't do. So that gives me hope that maybe he is doing it for the real reasons, but I don't know, of course. But they reached out and talked to him. And Jimmy Allen, that's his name, the other guy, and a couple other ones. But yeah, but he was for sure canceled for a while, and he's still probably struggling to come back. Damn, like some things. But that's the thing. I got his last album downloaded. Yeah, so that's like this, and that was the album, Dangerous album, I think is what it's called. Yeah. That was the album that was like, he didn't get as high as he should have on the charts because of what happened type thing, and they didn't play him on the radio and da. But also, it goes back to, like, also a good example for the disability community is Lizzo released a song and said spaz in it. I remember that. I remember that controversy. People really quickly wanted to cancel Lizzo. Yeah, and that was hard for me to be like, I love the fuck out of Lizzo. I love Lizzo. I wouldn't go see her in concert. I love Lizzo. But at the same time, I was like, how am I going to support her? And also, but this happened. And, like, kind of the same thing. So you were offended by that? I wasn't. I realized it was wrong. Because it's a word that shouldn't be said type thing. And I realized it was wrong. And I didn't delete her music or anything. But I did make it a point that it was wrong. I knew it. And then, but the difference was, she apologized, immediately changed the song and took it out. And has never said it again. Because that is an offensive turn. Okay, so is
See, that's
I don't want to get canceled, yo.
No, see, that's where
but this conversation
when it comes to a different minority group that you're not in, it's interesting perspectives. Yeah.
But what if the word means like a different lingo in another sense? Well, I guess okay.
Same thing, but it all derived from.
Okay. Because I was about to use the retarded. one.
I hate that. You'll never hear.
But I do see.
But it all.
But it does. Okay, I understand.
Same like for other words that may be offensive in the black community or Hispanic community or gay community or whatever. It's all derived from this bad part, and you want it to be gone. You want it to be. It's been used in a negative way for so long, it's almost hard to take back.
Yeah.
It's like the word crippled. For a while, I didn't say it. Now I say it because it was a negative term, but disability community has really taken that back. And that's where that is different. But words like spaz or the R word.
You see what I mean? I learned more when I came up here. Like, you guys really
those two
opened
words,
my mind.
And the R word, my family still uses it. I hate it. Absolutely hate it. And some people I know, because because
spaz and the R word, I really didn't understand because I thought it's two different definitions of the word, but then I had to remember all does derive back.
So
and that's what we've been saying about the N word.
Exactly.
We're trying to push that because
that's what I'm saying.
And we need to stop saying it too. But God damn it, we just try to make a positive or negative until it stops. That's what I mean. Negative or positive until it just stops.
That's what I'm saying. Like in my predominantly Caucasian school. Conservative school, they said that word, and I never was like, I'm not even saying this just because I'm on camera. I was literally like, that gives me the ick because I know, even without being educated on it, I know, I guess from experience with the R word or whatever, that is a negative term because people are using it in a negative way. It wasn't like that's so gay term that, like, of course.
The F word. I just realized. I didn't realize I've been new, but I just realized like how determined because like that's our N word.
Yeah, or the term like that's so gay. Like
that's what I have to stop saying too.
Because it was used in a negative connotation. And that's when people were like, oh. Yeah. And it is like I feel like every community has those words. Minority community has those words because they were treated so terribly for so long with these terrible words. And even though I wasn't educated on the N word, I'd only ever heard it in negative ways, so I knew that it was a negative thing. I never would say it. Same for the F slur for the gay community, or that's so gay, or the R word. I never liked it, and those words like that, I never. I guess I was self-aware enough to know I've only heard them in negative ways, so like I'm not gonna say them type thing. If that makes sense. But yeah.
And then before we get out of here, I want to go back. I made a poor example with the baby thing. This is why I keep bringing up the comedy and the cancel culture thing, and everybody's so sensitive. And then Ari Spears is cool. He loves to say he's old head, so he always says this generation is so moist. Okay. So I'm gonna try to say this briefly. So Kevin Hart, right? You know who Kevin Hart is. So I think he was supposed to be the host of the Emmys a couple years back, and he caught flack because before that. Like years ago, he made a quote making a joke poking at the LGBTQ community, which was offensive. Again, this is why I hate cancel culture, and this is why I think it's affecting comedy. And I'm gonna get to the point. So let's just put him in years. Okay, let's say he made the tweet quote in 2012. He got backlash for it. He apologized in that year. Apologized for it, learned from it, over it. We're in 2020. Let's say we're in 2020. Kevin Hart, he's supposed to host the Emmys. That tweet resurfaces.
Yeah, I hate when that happens, but yeah, go ahead.
And yes, he gets flack for it again. And the Emmys or whatever, I think it was the Emmys or the Oscars, one of them, wanted him to apologize for it again.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
And this is why I fuck with Kevin Hart so much. That
reminds me of another something. Again, it's not an example, but to take the whole point of life is to ever change, evolve, and grow as a human being.
Thank you.
And you learn different things as you get older. I can't help it that because of generational difference and being where I grew up, I can't help that I didn't know something that I know now, being in a different area. My favorite thing, I'm going to paraphrase it, but Lizzo has a song that says, how are we going to cancel a girl who's just trying to change? I don't know the exact words, but essentially, like, I'm trying to change. Why are you going to give me hate and fucking cancel me? I can't help it that I was literally unaware of something and I said it wrongfully, and now I can't. I apologize when I did learn it, or I apologize when I did learn, and I've grown. So why can't I live my life without being hated on because I didn't know something? That's like being in elementary school, didn't know 10 plus 10, and then now you're not going to get a job because you didn't know
10 plus 10.
Back then what 10 plus 10. Terrible analogy, but like, you get the point.
I know what you're saying.
It's that kind of thing.
We were trying to explain that in the last episode with the LGBT community with Caleb, and it was like for example, my friend, he's gonna hate. I'm not picking on you, bro. I'm not picking on you, but it was a perfect example. He keeps using every time we I ain't gonna lie. I use that's gay when something doesn't go right in a video game, but I would never say faggot. I would never say weird. I would never depict someone because they're different like that. I do have to give away from going and saying that's gay, like because I know I'm not trying to use it as an intent to hurt people, but I know it's an offensive certain, and it comes from a negative place. But you keep using, I was raised in Jamaica. I was raised by Jamaicans, like in my household, stuff like that. And it's like to what you were saying. And I couldn't make the right explanation then. I can make it now from watching my my last episode. What I was trying to say was, like, you can be raised away, but once you grow up, you can have your own opinions and do the homework behind what you say and what you believe in. Because what you believe in when you're younger is not what you actually believe in. Some things your parents just put on you, and you never did the homework because they never did the homework. Yeah. So it's like,
that's why I think so differently from my parents.
Yes.
Before, when I was like, even in high school, I think or I would say middle school, early high school, so much different than now, because that's what I was told, and I didn't think to fact check it or research it because my parents are always right?
Thank you. Because that's the thing with me in religion. I hope you don't feel a different way when you find this out. I was gonna release this information once I got more famous, but we need to have this conversation now. Like, I am not a religious person. When I'm growing up, I was born in a very Christian household, and I think the biggest thing the best thing I have in my life was when we stopped going to church. But yet we were still saying grace, we were still praying before we go to bed, we still use the term God, Jesus, all this stuff. Read the teen Bible every once in a while. We took a break from it and we stopped going. My neighbor invited me one day and I started going to him on a constant basis. And I'm like, this seems like, and every church is different. Every religion is different. So the way they preach stuff, but black community, hallelujah, and ghost spirits and
very
shit.
Active.
Very just overdoing it. I'm like, man, this shit got to be fake, bro. Like, why are we doing this? Like the I forgot what we call them. Whatever we call it, the preacher, he driving a BMW. We give him money to who knows, and he's supposed to be going to the church. And I'm just like, let me do my factual research. And I'm just like, and I don't want to say I'm an atheist. And I think I've tried, like I've said, I've tried to do the research on what I believe, and I really don't want to put myself in a group. But if I had to go close to it, because people keep calling me atheist, and I learned atheist is not what I am. Atheist, they're in your face. God is not real. I'm not. Yeah. I'm more close to agnostics, where if you show me physical evidence of, because everything, like I said, I can't fix my brain to wrap around physical therapy in a like very direct sense.
I love physical therapy.
Yeah, but I'm see, you see what I mean? But in that sense, that's how I am with religion. So I know we have evidence of dinosaur bones. I know we have evidence of hieroglyphics. I know we have evidence of this and that and a third. If Jesus died on the cross and we praise him now today, there should be some physical evidence. If not him or the cross, a grave site, something. You know what I'm saying?
So supposedly there is grave sites, but that's whatever. But sorry, mom and dad, if you do happen to be watching this, this is gonna be. I mean, y'all kind of already know, but I would say I'm more. I'm not just spiritual than religious, because I think religion's man-made. It all has their rules and laws.
That's what I've been saying.
BS stuff, in my opinion. Sorry, I don't want to offend any other religions. It's not BS. It's just different than what I believe and what I don't want to be a part of. But like, I would say the closest to religion I would say is non-denominational, because it's really just they focus on the Bible and God. But like, even then, I go to church with my friends. To a bigger church that's non-denominational, just felt more like they're very accepting of everyone, so I really like that church. But like, I would say I'm more spiritual because I believe there's some kind of higher being, but I don't know what or how or what is after death or what was before death
and that's where I have to do my homework, because that's the only thing I can't fight on. Everything I can fight on, I can kind of argue without the supporting fact. Yeah. But one thing they always use against me. They always say, well, Jared, someone had to create us. Someone had to create this land. Someone had to create. I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
And my preacher, my old preacher, made a good point one time. He's like, even if this is all fake, wasn't it? It's gonna sound weird out of character of him, but he's like, even if all this is fake and it wasn't real, wasn't it a good story?
Yeah.
And like, so you're prepared either way, but at the same time, like that feels weird, almost like. I don't know. It felt very odd to me, but I get what he was saying in terms of Christianity, like in the Baptist church, like to the 5 people that were there in the very small church.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
and that's why
I really don't talk about religion too much, not because I'm not afraid of it, but just because it's not really, you don't talk about what money, religion, and politics.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I'm saying, bro. And I'm like, that's why I invented Real Talk Radio so we can have this conversation, because a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, and I talked about this with Matthew, right? And I was like, I don't think I'm atheist or agnostic, but I'm closer to agnostic than atheist because I'm not in your face. Whereas a lot of Christians, and then that's why I hate bringing it up, because when a lot of people think, oh, you're not Christian, you're at the devil sin. I'm like, yo, I don't think I have to believe in a religion to be a good person.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of y'all are Christians and y'all are terrible people. So let's just keep it that way. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, like my thing is, I very much like, if you don't agree on religion with me, that's fine. If you don't agree on politics. It's a bit harder for me, but that's fine. Like I don't politics to me, like I don't want to get into it too much, but like I don't care about the person or the title or their party name. I really care about the morals and like who they support and who they don't support.
God damn it, we talked about this last episode.
I hate the 2-party system, and like my idea, I told this to my friends, I was like, my idea is, can we please keep who the party leader or who's running anonymous? Don't look at them. Don't look at their background. Don't look who they vote for or who they are. What about just give me a fact sheet of their morals, beliefs, and whatever, and then I'll vote. I don't care if it's whatever title, you know. I don't know. It's ridiculous.
I love the government system we're in, because if we were in a monarchy or a dictatorship and stuff like that, like I love our system. I just hate how it's demonstrated. It's demonstrated, yes, because we can vote for Donald Trump. Like, let's use Donald Trump, for example. He's only going to that black church just for promotion. Yeah. One thing. And even if they say, I'm going to do this, this, and this to better the world, when they get in power, it's still just subjective. They're only going to do what they think and would not, like, think for all of us. What's going to help the broader community.
I think the bad thing about politics, I think anywhere, not even here, politics, the head of a church, the head of a school, they're so... those people that are seeking this power or whatever are typically self-centered and want to fix the world in their eyes, or fix religion in their eyes, or fix the community in their eyes. But like, let people be what they want to be, who they want to be. I don't mind talking about any of that, but at the end of the day, as long as you don't tell me what to do, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm going to tell you what I think and who I support, who I don't, whatever. But I'm not going to be like, and I don't get too much into politics because I'm not educated enough to.
I'm the same, but I can see the basics of it.
Yeah, the basics I can agree, or agree or disagree, whatever. And nobody's gonna be perfect, but like, I don't know. I don't like it when people that are religious, family or not, are like, well, you gotta be this. You were raised this way, you know, or like, why don't you do this because you know it's right? I'm like, you think. It's right. You
exactly. There's no right or wrong when determining who a human being is.
Yeah, I mean, Mom, I don't want to use an example, but my mom grew up Pentecostal. They go to a Baptist church now. It's still religious Christianity, but it's a different denomination. You know what I mean? So like, it's that's why I really don't believe in politics, because, and again, I learned this in history class. It was the only history teacher that that kind of broke it down in the sense that Christianity was actually like like way back when, I forgot when. And it's good because this was during COVID, so I was like the only one in class at one point, because it was like optional where you come to class and I would always be the only one in the class. And he explained our history in a different way they've never, and I know this because it's got to be like a secret thing. And he taught it in a different way. He basically said Christianity was like kind of like our way of government before forming the government. Everything was based off religion.
Everything still is kind of.
It wasn't supposed to be, but
it wasn't supposed to be.
And I feel like there was a decent separation at one point. Yeah. And now it's going back to everything's religion based. That's why I'm not gonna get into it, but that's why everything is what it is. And
Arkansas, we can do
That's why, like, I don't even know, like all the things, like, LGBTQ plus communities affected.
Yes, everything.
Women's rights are affected. Drag shows, like all the little things, like important things, but they're in the world of politics. It's smaller things, but they're focusing on smaller things because they care about religion so much, which is not right.
Right, yeah.
I don't care if you are a preacher of a Southern Baptist church. When you walk into a political world, you need to have an open mind for everyone. Not just your white conservative Christians.
Thank you. And I want to end it on this quote that I'm telling y'all need to, you too. Spears and Steinberg start from episode 0. I'm telling you, their podcasts really, they touch on stuff like this, but they're old, so they got more intellect than we have. So, and he got this quote. I had to write it down. Andy Steinberg. He was like, they were talking about stuff like this, and they were debating. He was like, stop voting for people who make this their job to be a politician, and vote for someone who wants to do right for this country. So stop voting Republican, stop voting Democrat, stop voting Independent. Vote for someone who actually cares about our world.
Yes, I completely agree.
Oh God, like I heard that.
Will it ever happen? Unfortunately, I don't know that will ever happen. Like, I don't ever happen. But it's a good thing to strive for. I wish. I wish it was that easy for everybody.
It's gonna take a long time.
I talked about this real quick before we go off. I talked about this with somebody. I don't know who it was. Whether you're Republican or Democrat, Independent, whatever, there needs to be an age limit in the fucking office.
You think so?
Yes. Because once you get 80, 78, or late 70s, 80s, 90s, whether if you are the kindest heart, you're not going to stay up with the majority of the world. Because the majority of America is not that age. Majority is, I don't know the statistics, but probably between like 20s to 40s or 50s, whatever. And that's, especially in our generation, that's changing what that looks like. Not only that, but it's not hidden information that your mind is the first thing to go in your body compared to everything else. That's going to slowly slow down, not in a bad way, just it's life. The times change, the policies going to change, and I feel they need to lower the age limit just a little bit.
I should have had you on the other podcast. We talked about that a little bit. We talked about it from a different perspective, though, because Don, I'm going to just give a short summary before we get out of it. So Don Lemon had got in trouble for making a comment like that. And, again, this is where we're in this sensitive society where every little thing, you got to watch what you say. You can't put certain words in the same sentence as another word.
Yeah.
So he basically went on CNN, and he's against Nikki Haley or whatever. She's some type of politician. I don't know what she's running for. And he was like, she made a comment. This is the whole thing, though. This was my argument. I'm not even going to get into it because they got enough of that. She had previously said that she said the same thing you agree with, like politicians should be in their prime.
Yeah.
When running or trying to go in term. He said he was basically, because he's opposed to her, and he was basically like, Nikki Haley should watch what she say because according to Google and women are in their prime between the ages of blah 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 blah, and that's when all fucking hell goes loose. That's what I'm saying. But look, you got to hear me out. He was like, and then he backed it up with, I don't necessarily agree.
Yeah,
but she
needs to word. But that's the thing, wording is everything.
Oh my God, that's why I was like, that's where I was like, oh.
Yeah, because what he could have said had been taken out of context as well as she, because it sounds like he took it out of context for her, and now everybody's taking it out of context for him. And that's another thing with laws. Like the laws there right now, just from what I been with people like about the LGBTQ plus community in Tennessee. It's they're very generic, like talking about banning drag shows, but it goes beyond that. Like they're so generic. The wording I'm paraphrasing, but it's stupid either way. It's like women cannot appear as men and men cannot appear as women. That includes trans individuals. That includes people that are just non-binary or just dressing how they want. Because to me, gender, this might be controversial. I don't want to get into it too much. Gender is very much a social construct. In the sense that everything's gendered. Why is clothing gendered?
You know, I had this fucking argument, and this is where I'm going to get on my own community. Y'all got to stop saying that pink belongs to girls. Like,
there you go, please. And quit taxing pink stuff more than, girls' toys. They call it pink tax is taxed more than boys' toys.
And I'm
clothes,
like,
whatever.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, like, we got to stop gender. And there was another example in my head that I can't really think of, but. Like, stop doing that.
Why is gender such a vital role in our
world?
World,
I think a lot of...
why do people it's going to get very personal. Why do people care about what's in your pants is what everybody says. But it goes beyond that. That's what the quote says. Like,
yes.
But also, why do you care anyway what people identify as? Like, let them be happy. Let them be what they want to be. And like, why are you trying to make it illegal for them to dress
Thank you. I had to show this man, and he's a rough, quote unquote, trying to be hood dude. He's in his 30s, so it wasn't going to change his mind. But I had to make a point. I wore a pink shirt today one day to work because my other shirt was dirty.
I hated when people call me out for wearing a pink shirt. Or
but I love pink. Pink one of my favorite colors. Yeah. I wouldn't dress all down in pink. That's just my different style. But I would wear something in pink. Like I have shoes that are pink. Yeah. I have Instagram pictures where I'm wearing not a pink hat, but it's got pink in it. Pink shoes. And I had to show him. I'm like, you said real men don't wear pink.
That's so stupid.
And I asked him some of his idols. Some of his idols, Michael Jordan, and one of his rappers in jail right now. You're probably not familiar, but YFN Lucci. And I had to show him all his idols wearing pink. He was like, "Oh no, they're wearing women." I was like, "Dude, you don't have to like who? Where's the rule book that says pink is for girls?
Yeah,
black and white is for boys,
or like, just that whole thing's weird. Or like, I can't wear these shorts. I'm wearing a pretty short, and people are like, why are you wearing short shorts or whatever? Those things, or even the
I have some fuzzy Valentine Day Crocs.
Oh yeah,
that I wore, and people were. And I wore them here, and people were making my friends were making fun of me, of course, but they're not gonna bully me. But a lot of people one girl, it got to me a little bit. I would never forget. She pulled out her Snapchat, he was like, "Curtis, why are you?" And then she just stopped and then she started recording on Snapchat. And I know it wasn't to say it was a good thing. She was trying to probably make fun of me, and it just bothered me so much. And I had to get out of my feelings. I had to say, okay, you know what I'm gonna do? Or from now on, I'm gonna start wearing them more frequently. Yeah, and I'll piss y'all off now.
It's stuff like that gets on my nerves, or. Like, it's socially acceptable for women to wear men's clothes if they're oversized, baggy, but not vice versa. Like, if I like a shirt that's technically in the women's section, I'm going to get it.
Get it, yeah.
It's so stupid to think about. So
I feel like
I dyed my hair pink the other day. As you can probably see a little bit, it's kind of faded. Mm-hmm. My dad was so mad. Yeah. He was like, why didn't you do that? I was like, because I wanted to. Yeah. Like, why? Would it be better if I dyed it blue? Yeah. Or whatever? No, but, it's just stuff like that. It just gets.
I feel like a lot of it is masculinity over I forgot what the
toxic masculinity.
Toxic masculinity. That's what it was, and I feel like a lot of people misconstrue that, and it's like you said, it's subjective because, like, my dad doesn't know this. Like he was raised by a lot of women. He was raised by mostly women. Yeah. Right. So my dad has a little femininity in him, but it was perfect, and I want to do a documentary on one day. Because I didn't have the best relationship with my mom. Yeah. And sometimes when you're just raised by your father, it's hard because you need that balance of the heartfelt of a mother, where the stern, firm handling of your father. My dad had both, and I think that's why that was rare. Really good. It's rare. That's what I'm saying, and I'm like, and it makes me see the toxic masculinity from a different point of view. Yeah, the red pill, blue pill thing, and the toxic masculinity. I'm all against it because I have a father that can play both roles. Like my dad can watch sports, but also watch like Los Angeles Housewives or Basketball Housewives along with that, or soap operas and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Actually enjoy it.
My parents aren't divorced, anything. They're still together, all that good stuff. But my mom was, I guess, my primary caretaker. Like, she took me to my doctor's appointments or whatever. So I was around her a lot more. I had a Dora the Explorer baby doll growing up. But that was like a big deal, especially in 2001, 2003, 4, whatever. But that was like a whoa, and still people talk about it. I'm like, so? Yeah. And I used to be embarrassed about it. And now I'm like, yeah. And guess what? The hair grew and got shorter with a button.
Exactly.
I don't care. It's just that's a whole other topic I could talk about for days. Is the whole gender construct.
I think we're gonna save that for the next one. Damn, we went an hour.
I'm so sorry.
No, that's good. That's what I want. I wish we would have started that way, though, because the beginning was more like an interview. Yeah. It looked like seeing an interview. Yeah, but...
You'll lead it somewhere.
Yeah. It's Caden Nelms. I want to appreciate you coming on the pod. We're definitely going to get another episode.
Oh, for sure. This is fun. I love this.
Do you want to let the people know where they can find you at?
Yeah. So my Instagram is kind of complicated. It's obviously _Caden. That's where I post a lot of advocacy things I'm working on. I'm working on a new podcast launching in July, hopefully, because July is Disability Pride Month, and it's going to be called Adapt, Not Overcome. I have a website that launches with it, so I can do that, post blogs, and also I'm going to get into public speaking more. Yeah, so that's basically it.
You can check out his documentary on YouTube. Yes. What was the name of it?
When I did?
Yeah.
Shot in the Dark. It was about my best friend. I don't know if Matt's been on the podcast. Matt, my best friend Matt, his dad was unfortunately shot in the face by a individual, and he's okay. Like, you know, you have to watch it, but he's still alive. He's okay somehow. That is a miracle. But yeah, we did a documentary on that. It started as a class project, turned into like a really passion project. I worked on it a lot more than I should have, like extra. So I'm really proud of it. I loved it. So,
he got number 1 in the Georgia
documentary.
Georgia something like that.
Yeah, in documentary.
Something like that.
And you got number 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I lost to a disabled person. See, there's the joke. There's the joke. Is that offensive?
Yeah,
is that offensive?
That's
no,
good.
okay, I understand.
There you go. You'll get used to the jokes. You know, you're still getting used to them.
Yeah. But number 1. I actually watched it. It was pretty good.
I loved it. I really liked it. I watched yours. They played yours. I liked it.
Yeah.
People turned heads at yours because they were not expecting the beginning.
Yeah.
And then like a little bit extra.
I think that's the only reason I got second place was the beginning.
Yeah.
Because it really caught the attention.
For sure.
And then the rest of it was like, it was good, but
it was good.
I'm glad he made that open frame. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But I feel like we really should have won the BEA, but fuck the BE. No, I'm just kidding. We're definitely going to enter something this year.
I didn't get anything else. I was turned down.
But those are most of those rich kids. Like you said,
they had the good money. I did not have a good camera.
I saw who won first place for the short doc in the I just looked it up in class. They drove 1,000 miles. They were actually a team. So they had money.
No, it was a 2-person project with another friend helping out sometimes, traveling down to Lawrenceville, which is a far drive from here for me, and working on my shitty little DSLR. So I didn't have a good camera equipment.
Me either. I had Tyler, so I got lucky.
You got Tyler, yeah.
I got fucking lucky.
You got lucky with Tyler.
I was like, I have to go crazy.
Oh, for sure.
But
and check out the documentary Tyler did on me, Adapt Not Overcome. It's really good. So yes.
And shout out your YouTube as well.
Yeah, my YouTube is just my name, Caden Nelms, where I'm posting any of that kind of stuff. Hopefully gonna start doing videos again, and the audio versions of my podcast. I want to start doing videos again. I did them previously, but like I said, that was in high school. My mind has definitely have changed, so I have privated those videos, and nobody's ever going to see them again. And I am redoing them later. Not that they were offensive, I just didn't like them.
Yeah.
More religion based. I don't want to focus on religion based. I don't know that's a bad thing, but I feel like for me, I don't want it to be confined to a religion based audience. But yeah.
Okay.
That's very long winded, but yeah.
Yeah, you got it. Follow me, y'all know, real.t.radio on Instagram, RTR JayRay on Twitter, Real Talk Radio with a second O on TikTok.
Oh wow.
And
oh yeah. You want to hear something funny? What? My TikTok, Wheelchair King, all one word.
God, you're such a troll.
That was my name. You
remind me of Lil Nas X.
That was my name in in online community. I used to play games. It was Wheels.
That's a good one. I'm forgetting one. Oh, Facebook. You just type in my name. Is it?
Nice. Yeah.
Is it?
Thank
We're out.
for having me. Yep.
Yep.